management system. Now, this is really important to understand, and what distinguishes Jeunesse from every other multi-level network marketing company is really the core science behind the company. And a number of doctors are responsible for that. Okay, the secret here is the products that Jeunesse has designed, both the topicals and the orals, are all designed to work at the origin of the aging process, which is inside our cells, and to work together synergistically. Okay, so when we look at the products of Jeunesse, and you see, I believe they're up here. Okay, here we go. And you see the products themselves. What you're going to start to see, for instance, Finity, AMPM, Reserve, work from the inside out, helping to restore the function of the cells. Okay, the Zen product system also works from the inside out, changing our hormones, changing our body composition, and enhancing how we feel and look. The Luminous skincare line works from the outside in. So what you're looking at superficially here is one of the core concepts behind the science is that when you use these products together, you get a synergistic effect. 1 + 1 doesn't equal 2, but in essence, 1 + 1 = 3, 4, 5, as you start to use the products together. Now, this is really important not only for your use, but as you explain this to other people, they will actually feel the difference as you use the system together. Okay? So, what do we know about cell aging? Okay? I actually started to get interested in anti-aging when I was living in Canada. I had 2 old grandparents who were actually living here with us. And as a young kid, the last thing you want to see is your people you love start to fail. And I remember thinking as a young person, how come they're getting old? I don't want to do that. And I want to be able to run and feel good. And I distinctively remember when that thought popped into my mind. And even in medical school, that was one of my focuses. So what really happens inside a cell? And one of the 7 books that I have written, the next to last one, focuses on, well, what could we do to keep one cell healthy? Because if we know how to keep one cell healthy, well, the 100 trillion cells that make up our body, we might be able to use that information for every one of them. So inside the cell, basically what we have is, if you will, genetic software. Okay, that's our DNA. Now, we have 100 trillion cells. Each cell is 10 feet of DNA. That's more than enough DNA to go from this planet to the moon and back again a few times. So the light went on in my mind. I said, well, if you have that much DNA, it's got to be important. Okay, the DNA makes up 30,000 genes in each cell. Okay, genes make proteins make tissues make you. So I was starting to look at what's the origin of keeping cells healthy and aging. So as we age, what really happens? Why do we start to feel not well? Why do we start to look not so great? Why do we have a wrinkle? And it really comes down to keeping your DNA healthy and your cells functioning. So the healthier your cells are, the more in harmony they work together, the more DNA is able to repair itself, the better your quality of health. So when you look at this slide, many of you say, geez, I'm already healthy, so why do I really need something like this? Because there's different degrees of health. And I guarantee you that as you move into the different products that Jeunesse has designed, you're going to notice that, gee, you thought you felt well, but you're going to feel better. In fact, most of you haven't even reached your full health potential. And that's really what Jeunesse is about. It's about not only bringing you products, but having you experience the effects of these products, whether they're topical or whether they're the ones you take orally. AMPM Essentials is one of the core products that helps build an enhanced function at the level of your cells. And now both your body cells and your stem cells. So we're going to be talking about these 2 different groups of cells too. Reserve, Finity, Zen, all work in the same manner. Okay? So when we look at our cells, our bodies, up until 15, 20 years ago, we really had no idea that we had stem cells. 15, 20 years ago, no one knew this. But let me just take a moment to explain something to you. I don't know, how many people in this room are 50 or 60 years and older? Okay, so we're looking at maybe close to 40, 50% of people. The Singularity Institute, which is one of the most advanced think tanks in the world for cell and aging, issued a statement that says people who are in their 50s and 60s, virtually many of these people will have the opportunity to live to be 150 in extremely good health based upon how rapidly the information we are gaining on how people age at the cellular level. At the turn of the century, it took 10 years for information to double. 10 years. In 2000, it took 4 months. Today, it takes 1 month to double the information we have, which means we're on the vertical limb of this information curve. And I know it may sound science fiction-y, but frankly, everybody in this room is going to have the opportunity to really live a healthier, more productive, and a longer life. And the core science you see here is really based on some of the science that's being done at research labs, some of the research we've done, but you have to keep in mind 2 things. The science is one thing, and we're going to talk about lifestyle and other things as we finish this. But you all have the potential to live a healthier, longer life than you even thought you would.